Mhm.
Cool. We are recording an episode of How I Make Music with Irene Zhong, who is my new favorite artist. Hello.
Thank you so much. It's
Cool.
it's great to be here.
Yeah, cool. Cool. So these, like I explained how this works, we're basically just going to go line by line through the script and just kind
Mhm,
of, yeah, come up with some good audio that we can put into an episode.
mhm.
Um, Great. So, I've listened to a few episodes of Godshead. Actually, I heard Jeffrey Nils Gardner. He's one of the or
Ah,
they're one of the voices on that. That's right.
oh
They're
wow,
a
yeah,
they're a former contributor, and I really enjoyed speaking to them. Yeah,
that's
really
great. That's
great guy.
fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
hmm
So why don't you just tell us a little bit about your just briefly, like one or two lines, intro, sort of your involvement, and what the
hmm
God's Head Incidental is about.
Yeah. So the Godshead Incidental is a surreal urban fantasy audio drama about a city called Godshead, where there are um, gods, like minor gods, major gods, gods of grammar and of editing and of memories. Um, and we kind of follow our protagonist through uh, her accidental entanglement with the god of memory. And the writers Amy Giacomucci and Cara Ehlenfeld reached out to me to write the intro theme as well as a music box theme based on that same theme for this sprawling magical city.
Nice.
Mm.
Um, One thing, well, next thing, I suppose you should probably just say hi.
Mhm.
I'm Irene Jong and I write music.
I
Just
I
give
forgot
us a
to
little
say my name.
introduction. Yeah, no, I didn't
Hello,
prompt
my
you,
name
but
is Irene Zhong.
was that my end? That doof.
Oh,
Yeah, that's my wife. Okay. Sorry, just for my sanity, could you just do that one
yeah,
more time?
all
Yeah.
good. Mhm. Hello, my name is Irene Zhong. I am the composer for Godshead Incidental's title theme.
Nice. Have you read any Neil Gaiman? Because it sounds like,
I have,
yeah.
yeah. I read Good Omens in high school for English literature, and as well as his short stories. Yeah,
Okay. So then
yeah.
that's great. I'll use that. Could you just set that up by just saying, I've read a couple of
hmm
Neil Gaiman books, just one line.
hmm I've read a couple of Neil Gaiman books.
That's a nice connection to make. You know, people like to like sort of start on familiar ground and um,
Yeah,
urban
yeah,
fantasy. I also dig that stuff. I'm gonna
yeah.
have to finish listening to this in total because it sounds like it's right up my street.
Hope you have fun. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. All right. Well, let's carry on.
Mhm.
So the next section is kind of the influences section, one by one.
Yep.
Yeah, go
Mhm.
through those three.
Just talk
Just
a
tell
little
us
bit.
what. Yeah, tell us what influenced you.
Mhm. Mhm. My major, sorry, let me start again. Let me think of how to start this sentence. I would say my primary influence for how I approached this track was the experimental hip hop group Clipping, formed by William Hudson, Jonathan Snipes, who are the producers, and rapper Davi Diggs. And what they like to do with their music is they actually set these constraints for themselves, which is that they can't use an actual drum kit. They will find percussive sounds like the hissing of a compressed air can or crushing concrete blocks and use that and manipulate that to make their uh, very industrial and violent almost sounding drum kit. So I tried to do that in the theme as well by using traffic light clicks and modern sounds.
Nice. I like that section you mentioned later about going out at night. We'll get to that. That's cool.
Yeah, sure.
Um, I've just realized the. Could I just get you to redo your intro?
Yeah,
Normally, I didn't prompt you correctly. The right sort of way to
yeah,
say it is, my name's Irene Zhong. I'm a composer from Melbourne.
great.
That yeah, just one or two lines like that.
Sure. Mhm. My name is Irene Zhong. I'm a composer based in Melbourne, Australia.
Great, awesome. Uh, cool. And then the Sylvan
Mm.
Esso track, which I really love. I
Mhm.
mean, I haven't heard her stuff
Oh,
for ages, but it's also like
gosh.
progressive, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, their stuff is really great. Yeah. Um, Another track that influenced this theme is Hey Mummy by Sylvan Esso. And they're a group that's got such a unique sound. It merges very contemporary electronic um, styles with folk melodies by the singer, which is something that I really enjoyed.
Hmm. Yeah, I can see the influence there too, you know, because you've got these two different worlds for this track.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
the other thing that is useful
Mhm,
for um, just
mhm.
in general, whenever possible, when you refer to your own track, so much to hold,
Yeah,
refer to it by the full name. So you could
by the
say
full
something
name.
like,
Yeah,
yeah, you could say something like this track, so much to hold, as da 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 da. You just use that
yeah,
title again and again, and kind of you know how it is with audio, like people need to really
yeah,
be spoon fed because they don't have any visual
yeah,
cues. So that's
yeah.
great.
Sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And
Um,
then
I can do a retake of introducing the Sylvanesso track if you like, with
yeah, sure, go for it.
yeah, if you don't mind. Yeah.
Yeah.
Another track that influenced So Much to Hold is Hey Mummy by Sylvanesso. And it's a track that also combines two very diverse sound worlds, one of experimental and modern electronic production and of folk melodies and very intricate uh, melodic and singing like phrases.
Spot on. Awesome. That's
Thanks.
great. And then we'll use that track underneath. That's perfect.
Mhm.
Cool. And then children's work. I've never heard of Dessa. Could you unpack that a bit?
Really?
Yeah.
I actually haven't heard much of Dessa until I received this commission brief from the Godshead Incidental writers. But she is, I actually don't know too much about her. She is a rapper. Um, and I think she is of Hispanic origin, maybe. Um, but she just writes a lot of like cool rap songs with really, really cool background instrumentals. And that's kind of the background instrumentals of children's work is um, probably what I was drawing on the most rather than the actual lyrical and vocal content. There was just this really percussive driving beat behind it that was just like a very complex sound. Like every beat was giving me so much information, um, and it almost has the sense of walking through a really busy city, and if like every street corner has so much to take in. So that was something that I also tried to incorporate into so much to hold.
Oh, you are just such a natural at this, like little storytelling, picturing the
Thank
street
you.
corners, referencing the track art's name. I just tell you something once and you've got it. That's great.
Thank you. That's very kind. Thank you.
Awesome. So that's good. I've got a great idea of how to do all that, so we can
Okay.
finish with that section.
Mhm, mhm.
So yeah, during this breakdown section, this is the idea
Mm,
here is to constantly try and reference the track that's playing. So
yeah.
if you've got an idea, for example,
Mm.
your stems here, you've got a track called marimba. Feel free to go
Mhm.
ahead and say stuff like um,
Yeah.
you can hear it's a sampled instrument, but da da da,
Mhm.
da, because you can just assume that I will make the connection. I
Yeah.
will know that you are talking about that
Mm.
stem at that point.
Mhm. Mhm,
So
mhm,
yeah, draw the
mhm.
listener's attention to whatever's playing in the background.
Great.
If you want, I'll just do you want a list of the stems that you sent me visible
Yeah.
somewhere? Will that help? Okay, let's
Yeah, that
just
would be great, actually.
I'm gonna try and figure that out quickly.
Mhm.
Mm,
I might be able to pull it up in a different window.
yeah, I think that's
Um,
better. I've actually
yeah,
done this
no
before, but
worries.
that would be great
Yeah.
actually having a hit.
Mhm. Um, how do I do this?
Hmm.
Mm.
Oh wait, here we go. I think I can do it. There we go. Yeah, great. Can you see
Oh,
my screen now? You can see it, huh? Yeah,
I can.
great. So on the left over
Um,
there,
yeah.
can you read that? Is it too small?
Oh, it might be a little too small, but no worries. I think it might be a little more convenient if I grab the folder.
Okay, cool.
Stems. Mhm. Okay. Yes. I'm just gonna resize my window, sorry. Making sure that I can see everything.
And while you do that, can you hear the music that's playing now?
So much to hold.
Yes, I can, yeah.
You heard that? Okay, cool. That means that if you want to hear something quickly, I can play it for you. If you want to be reminded of what something sounds like.
Amazing.
I've got it all queued up.
Yeah.
Right. Cool.
Yeah, great. Sure, thank you.
Sweet. Team.
Yeah. Nice. Okay.
Right.
Ooh.
Yeah, so each one of these, none of them, you don't have to really go into much detail on all of them because I'll probably only end up using like 5 or 6 of them. So just, yeah, basically work your way down this list, air, hiss, alto, claps, plus the stuff in the document, and then just say 1 or 2 lines about each. And if there's nothing to say about it, then just skip it. Okay, cool.
Yeah, great. Sorry, I'm just thinking of like how I want to start the sentence. It's all about how you start, isn't it? Like if you start off on the wrong foot, it's kind of like, sorry, I don't know where I was going.
How you start and how you end. It's like the stuff in between.
That's
just
it.
Whatever.
Yeah. That's it. Oh, can you hear my laptop fan going? I hope you can't hear it.
There's a little bit of noise in that demo clip, but it's nothing I can't work with. Yeah.
Okay, great. That's great.
All good.
Okay, I'll start. The list of stems that I see in the folder might be in a different order. It probably is. But I'll try and go through all of them. Okay. So it actually starts with like the vibraphone and marimba. Does that?
Oh, don't worry about the chronology. We don't have to do it in the order of the track. In fact, let's start with the stuff that you wrote in the script because that's the most important to you. Especially the vocals and the violin. Those are the 2 main ones. Those are the things that's really distinctive about this piece. So. Cool.
Yeah. Okay. I'll start with the script, and if there's anything else, like short little descriptions I can give to anything else, I'll let you know. Okay.
Great.
The choir that I used in So Much to Hold is actually inspired by the script sent to me by writers Amy Giacomucci and Cara Ellenfeld. I got to read a monologue beforehand, and a thing I like to do when composing is take rhythm from the words that inspire them. So I said to myself, like, I read the monologue to myself, and what caught on was so much to hold. And this motif kind of just revealed itself to me. I think it also, it's such a simple, I think it's also such a simple phrase, but can be interpreted in so many ways in context to the story and the characters and the city and the setting.
Great. I think it's also worth mentioning, just in your own words, that I mean, I'm assuming that you are the vocalist here.
Yes.
Okay. So maybe just because I mean, you know, when people hear vocals, they're like, "Who's that?" So maybe just one line saying,
sure.
"I was the vocalist on this track," or something like that.
Sure. I was the vocalist on this track. I've always loved singing and making a cappella stuff, especially.
Awesome. That's great. And then one more point of clarity, if I'm hearing you correctly, is that you read the script and there's a phrase somewhere in the script that says so much to hold, and then you've used that as the basis. Could you unpack that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So when this project was pitched to me, Amy and Cara, the writers, sent me the entire script for episode 1, And at the end of episode 1, there is a monologue. And that was the crux of the episode. Everything was building up to that moment.
Cool. And in that monologue, could you go on to just explain that in that monologue, there is a phrase, so much to hold on, that as a springboard or whatever.
Yeah. And in that monologue, there is a phrase that the narrator says, and it's so much to hold. And she's referring to all the emotions and the overwhelm that is in her. But it's a phrase that can also be interpreted as a description to the setting and the city and everything our protagonist is going through.
That's awesome. Great. I can pull that all together. And I'll actually use the clip from the audio drama. So I'll play the original clip and then I'll play your sort of melodic interpretation of it.
That's fantastic.
Great. So that's a cool little section there. When you're ready, move on to the next one, the found sound. And if you want, you can reference clipping again.
Yeah, sure. As inspired by the group Clipping, I really wanted to get some found sound to create my own drum kit, my own percussion section that's from the city. So I really wanted the feeling of bustle, of busyness and machinery and industry. And I already had a library of sounds that I keep around, such as like my Polaroid camera, a typewriter that I borrowed from a friend, some clockwork, and the main sound that I had to acquire for this track, so much to hold, is the traffic lights. I went downstairs at 11 p.m. at night and got the traffic lights in front of my apartment building to sorry, let me start that again. So to acquire the traffic light sound, I actually had to go downstairs in the middle of the night, wait until it was very quiet, and then try and set off the pedestrian crossing near my apartment building to try and get a clean sample. And luckily, I got one.
Awesome. I can just picture, the mad scientist kind of vibe.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah. I was in my pajamas and like just a big jacket.
And then, of course, at that very moment, the law enforcement arrives and asks what you're doing, and you have to explain to them that you're an artist, and no one gets it.
Exactly. Yeah, sorry. I'm being paid to do this.
Yeah, so it's fine. You guys can go now. I'm just recording these traffic lights.
Yeah.
No, totally, man. People I've lived with and stuff, like, like someone will move into the digs, and for the first week they're there, they're like, who's that guy? He's like sings to himself in the room. Like, I thought the door was blocking the sound, and meanwhile the guy across the street can hear it. So you get the reputation for being a bit mad.
Yes, being a little eccentric. Yeah,
eccentric, yeah. But you have to be. You have to be.
Exactly.
Okay, that's great. Awesome. Oh, you mentioned the typewriter. So is that something you downloaded, or did you actually record a typewriter with a recorder?
I recorded a typewriter that I borrowed from a friend, and we actually had to work to get the typewriter working because one of the release mechanisms or levers just wasn't like making the bell go, which is the most distinctive quality of a typewriter.
Right.
But we eventually, me and my recording engineer teacher at my university, got the bell working. Yeah.
It's like repairing it, but for some reason other than you would normally repair a typewriter.
Exactly. Like, I don't care if I can write with this.
Yeah, exactly. That's cool. I like that. It's that level of inventiveness, where you kind of do things that other people don't do. And that's cool. There's a great contact instrument called, I've used it before, called kinetic metal. Do you know that one?
Ooh, no, I don't. Tell me more.
Well, it's like a bunch of those types of sounds. There's typewriter patches and things. I'll show it to you a bit later if you want.
Wow. Yeah, that would be great.
Wunderbar. Just, oops. Oh, there we go. Cool. Turn off mute. Sweet. That's great. That was cool. And we've kind of gone through to that. I'm just going to do a strike through on that.
Yeah, sure.
Just give me a sec.
Mm-hmm.
Where is it? Oh, there it is. Cool. Alt Shift 5. Cool. Done that. I'm gonna. Yeah. Cool. Where are we now? Oh yes, this phrase Baroque pop or Baroque pop.
Yeah.
I'd like to bring that in there. That'd be cool.
Sure. The writers who requested So Much to Hold requested that I incorporate the feeling of Baroque pop, which is a fusion genre. And luckily, I work a lot in fusion genre. I like to think that I write the kind of music that can be described as chamber folk. So I already enjoy this kind of genre fusion. So to represent the Baroque element in this track, So Much to Hold, I created an intricate string part with my violin that wove into each other and played as almost this manic quartet.
Could you set that up with I have been playing violin, or I got an education violin, just a little bit about your violin background?
Yeah, sure. I've played the violin since I was 3, so around the time I was, learning how to talk properly. And I went into university for violin playing initially before I went into composing.
Right. Yeah, we'll definitely, I think, lead this section with that, with the vocals and the violin. I mean, it's beautiful. Let me just give this section a quick listen. Just going to solo out all the violins and give them a little listen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so the one cool thing to mention, one little nugget is glissando. So perhaps just something along the lines of, you can hear how I sweep up the, how I create this. That's a very distinctive violin sound because the instrument doesn't have frets. Just kind of go into that a bit so I can hone in on that one very little special
awesome
piece. Cool.
Sure, I can do that. Actually, I just remembered, would I be able to mention like another influence that I didn't mention before?
Yeah, of course. I mean, whatever you mention, I'll find a place for it if it's important to you. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I just thought of it while thinking of, thank you for like playing back this sound to me, because it's been a while since I've heard each stem by stem. But yeah, I was like, oh, I think that's how I came up with that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I'll just do a take on that. So the slides up the violin were inspired by the opening to Los Angeles by St. Vincent, where she starts the track with this this slide into the song, and it kind of just hits at the beginning of the song. And while thinking of the element of Baroque pop, I think of how a violin, this classical instrument, can also just be very punk rock as well. So I wanted to show off its capabilities as more than just a Baroque instrument.
Awesome. Great. Perfect. That's great. And then I'll use the slide, maybe run it through some delay or something to make it like
Sure,
this whole show for me is like, I don't know, a substitute.
Just getting to know other people's secrets.
Well, one thing, steal their secrets, make friends with them.
Yeah.
But
yes.
Also, I just want it to be like a bit of a trip, like not just blah 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 blah, but actual like a close listening experience. That's the
idea. Definitely. Yes.
Great. I have struck out you've mentioned Amy and Cara twice already, which is cool. You've got their full names and everything, so that's great.
Lovely. Let's
go down to Everything You Do. And this section, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're basically like, Amy and Cara heard my work, and this is the track. This is a track called Everything You Do, which they heard, and that was the inspiration for blah blah blah, that kind of thing.
Let me think.
And then I will play everything you do in the background while you're talking this.
Yeah, lovely. Yeah. My original song, Everything You Do, was the first track that Amy and Cara heard that I made. And it was my resume to them, I guess. It was what convinced them to work with me. In the song, I use a lot of strings and unique rhythms and a little bit of found sound as well.
Cool. And while we're on this, you can maybe say, I found out about Amy and Cara through Penumbra, and just kind of, we can turn that into one section.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Yeah. And I found out about Amy and Cara through being fans of the Penumbra podcast. And Amy and I were friends and we talked to each other, and she showed me some of her writing, and I've always just appreciated her craft and her humor and finesse.
And what is Penumbra podcast about? I've never actually listened to it.
Oh, sorry, we're lagging a little bit. Hello.
Hi. Well, Penumbra podcast, what is it about? I've never actually listened to it.
Oh, it's great. It also has great music.
Okay, good.
If you like, you're a guitar player, so actually the music, I think, was written by the writer's brother, who's a guitar player, and the Penumbra podcast is like the main storyline is about this noir detective, but in future space on Mars.
Yeah. Yes. I'm definitely a fan already. I love that. Yeah. They call it tech noir. It's my favorite film genre. It's like Total Recall and Blade Runner. It's like the future noir.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
so it's very tech noir.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, you'd enjoy it, I think. Yes.
Awesome. That's great. Hard drive glitched.
Yes.
If you want to do that, what happened there? How did that make you feel?
So after I finished everything on the track and already exported it, my hard drive actually glitched and I lost all my stems. But I had the final product. So I gave it to Amy and Cara and said, it's all done. I'm so sorry. The stems are gone, though. Do you need them? And they said, sorry, we really do need those stems. So I had to recreate everything.
Just gritting my teeth here in sympathy.
Yes.
Pain. Cool, that's great. Awesome. And then to close off that, I see we've kind of jumped ahead into the storytelling section. That's fine. Let's circle back to the actual stems. So at this point, you could just carry on from where you mentioned the 7/4 time signature.
Yeah.
That's a cool one.
Yeah, cool.
I'll tell you what, let's start it by saying, so take a listen to the drums and the clapping sound, and you'll hear, you can hear it's like a bit irregular, and then going to break down what makes it irregular, 7/4.
Sure. Take a listen to the drum kits and the clapping sounds. These motifs were written to represent the off-kilter surrealness and humor of the podcast. And the writers requested that I use a special time signature that made people feel a little uneasy or made it difficult for listeners to catch on to regularity. So it's somewhere between this. I think of 7/4 as 3 + 4. So I think of it as halfway between a waltz and a march. And I tried to make these catchy motifs I tried to write these catchy motifs in the rhythm section so that the only way you could keep up with this piece is to catch on to them as well.
That's cool. So I get that because I'm a musician, but I think we might have to simplify it a little bit.
Yes.
Just starters point out like this it's in a time signature. It's in a musical time signature called 7/4. So let's just do that one line. It's called 7/4.
Yep. this piece, So Much to Hold is in a nope. So Much to Hold is in a time signature called 7/4, which means that there are 7 beats in one bar.
Cool. And then what I've done before, which works quite well, I'll just actually literally ask you to just count to 7, and I'll edit your voice over the beats. So just slowly count to 7 for me.
That's great. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Good. I hope that wasn't too challenging for you, was that?
I really had to focus. I was like, which one am I up to?
The jokes aside, that is actually often where you screw up. You're like, oh, I got this. And you're like, oh, wait, 4, 5, oh, what? you're like, oh, now I feel like a prize idiot.
Yeah. You're focused on everything else. Like,
and that's it. Yeah. Great. That's awesome. And unless is there anything you want to say about the actual drum kits, like the timbres or the selection or the clapping before we move on? Or not?
Yeah, I'll mention a little bit about the clapping actually.
Let's just give it a quick listen. I'd actually like to hear this myself. We've got claps, and what is the drum kit called? It is called Kit 1, Kit 2. Let's hear these guys together. Oh, I love this so much. It's so like suggestive, like.
There's this impetus,
Impetus, so great.
Thank you.
Space. That's great. Yeah, I'm a big fan of that style of like, cool.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, there's this kind of lurching feeling about it, like a darkness that's definitely inspired by clipping.
Awesome.
Okay. Yeah, I can talk a little bit about the clapping sound.
Okay.
Which is that the clapping motif has this childishness about it. It's almost like a nursery rhyme that you would clap out. And I wanted to contrast that with the darkness of the drum kits, of the lurching and the deep sounds with something with higher timbres.
That's cool. Juxtapose the childish and the sort of darker. Yeah, that's great. No, you've got a sense of this. I mean, I'll tell you, because I am actually always looking, in my sort of search for music, I'm looking for this type of combination, which takes it takes the classical elements, but also it merges that not just with like electronic beats or hip hop beats, but hip hop beats and music that would never otherwise be associated with anything classical. So the more divorced it is from this kind of Baroque roots or whatever, the better it juxtaposes. So it's just, and you've done it so well. Like, I know what you've done here. I've seen people. I've heard music and like stuff where people are trying to do this kind of thing effectively, but often it doesn't work because they're either a violinist or a producer. But you've done so well. I mean, like, well done.
Thank you so much.
Sounds great. Cool. And then this music box version. So you're talking about that you sent it in a separate stem, and
yes,
you want to just mention that's kind of like why did you do that?
Yeah.
Why did you write the music box?
Sure. Amy and Cara requested that I write a music box version of the same theme so that they can actually put it under the monologue at the end of episode 1 that inspired the theme to begin with. So in this roundabout way, the monologue inspired the theme, and which inspired another theme that is now accompanying the monologue itself at the end.
As if it wasn't difficult enough already to explain to people what a podcast is now. cross subtextual.
Yes.
Okay, that's cool.
Yes.
Okay,
intertextual. Yeah.
Intertextual. That's good. Yeah. Super. Great. Now we've done line 26 storytelling. We've done line 28, and we've actually done line 29 too. Oops. 5. Penumbra we've done, and glitch we've done. So that's basically everything. From here on, what we'll do is just record the intro script. Let me just give it a quick read through, and then I'll green light.
Yeah.
Next for so much chance, title theme for the Godshead Incidental. Let's just clarify that. Urban, how would you describe that? An urban fantasy audio drama. Does that work for you? Do a breakdown?
Yeah, let me double check what they've put on their
that's a good
website, but that should be fine.
I've got that here actually.
Oh, great. Like if there's a tagline that they want to use specifically.
A specific one.
I just want to make sure that I get. Yeah.
It's a long tagline.
Audio drama about intrepid columnist in the letter she didn't answer. Yep. Okay, that is long.
It won't work in audio. It works in writing.
Yeah. That's tricky, isn't it?
An audio drama about a writer in. How about an audio drama about an advice columnist in a city of
city full of gods,
city of gods that may or may not exist. How about that?
Yeah, that's great.
Thank you. Words. An audio drama about I'm just going to say a writer in a city of gods, and I'm going to actually bring urban fantasy back in there. An urban fantasy audio drama about a writer in a city of gods that may or may not exist. That's great. Cool. Is that okay with you? And
yeah, that sounds great.
Great. And then let me just check the rest of it. You listen to our music of a fictional podcast. I'm Irene Zhong, a composer, singer, songwriter, and this is how I make music. Welcome back to How I Make Music. That's it. Perfect. Go ahead, and when you're ready, just read through the intro script.
Sure. The piece of music we're listening to in the background is called So Much to Hold. It's the title theme from the Godshead Incidental, an urban fantasy audio drama about a writer in a city of gods that may or may not exist. Today, we'll break it down and get into why and how it was made. You're listening to How I Make Music, where audio drama composers get to tell their own stories. In this show, we break apart the music of a fictional podcast and take a trip into how it was made. My name is Irene Zhong. I'm a composer and singer-songwriter from Melbourne, Australia, and this is How I Make Music. Welcome back to How I Make Music, So Much to Hold, from the audio drama Godshead Incidental by me, Irene Zhong. Thanks for listening in.
Brill. Let's just do that last line again. I've noticed that they refer to it as the Godshead Incidental. So just welcome back to How I Make Music, cool. And I'll change it to the Godshead.
Yeah, sure. Great, thank you. Welcome back to How I Make Music, So Much to Hold, from the audio drama The Godshead Incidental by me, Irene Zhong. Thanks for listening in.
Super, that's great. We'll do the same thing for outro. Let me just proof it. Listen to full. I've got to change it. That's about it for this episode. I used to do it every week, so now I've still got old copy in there going this week.
Yeah.
Thank you, listener. Catching episodes or wherever else. I've also shortened. I try to shorten these things. Catch it on How I Make Music or wherever else. Audio drama called The Godshead Incidental. Check my works for video recorded. Support musicians of audio drama. Top tip patrons get a mention. We'll take out this whole thing here. Okay, about John Bartman, and now here's this initial time. Oh, we got to do that. That's wrong. Thanks for listening to me. Great, yeah, perfect. All yours.
Okay, awesome, great. That's about it for this episode. We'll listen to the full piece in just a moment, but before we do, nope. That's about it for this episode. We'll listen to the full piece in just a moment, but before we do that, thank you for listening to How I Make Music. Catch new episodes on howimakemusic.com or Catch new episodes on howimakemusic.com or wherever else. We've been listening to music featured in the audio drama called The Godshead Incidental. To hear the full story or to check out my other work, follow the links in the show notes. We video recorded this episode. Check it out and support the musicians of audio drama by becoming a patron at patreon.com/howimakemusic. Top tier patrons get a mention right here in the credits of every episode. How I Make Music is created by John Bartman. And now, here's So Much to Hold, the title theme of the Godshead Incidental in its entirety. My name is Irene Zhong, and thanks for listening to How I Make My name is Irene Zhong, and thanks for listening to How I Make Music. Catch you next time.
Perfect. You can see how I've totally stolen the format from Song Exploder, like the exact everything is the same.
Yeah, oh, it's awesome.
It's
spot
great. On, yeah. I like the idea of the silent host, because actually no one's, it's I got reasons for that. Cool.
It's really cool. Yeah.
Thanks. So these last ones are just basically do one or two takes of those. Try to keep your voice flat, because these often come at the end of a sentence. So just take a listen. Here's how it sounds. Don't make it its own sentence. Yeah.
Yeah. Here, take a listen. Take a listen to it. Take a listen. Here's how it sounds. Here's how that sounds.
Cool. Those usually fill all the gaps in the
sure.
When I want to draw attention to what's playing in the background. I think we've got most of it. You should just fill in or direct me to where I can get your preferred social links and all that. That'd be good.
Sure. It's literally irenezhong.com, and then I can I'll paste my Facebook page because I need to manage it more. More people need to see it, etc.
Cool.
You know how it goes.
Sure. Yeah, I did. Your site is dope, by the way. I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's like, I want to hire her. I don't have the money, but I want to hire her. That's the market. That's the market you're going for, right? People who don't have any money but want to hire you.
Honestly, that is how it usually goes.
Yeah, exactly.
When writing, it's the projects that I'm most interested in. That's like, sorry, this is our budget, and I'm like,
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
and then the stuff that you actually get paid for, it's the corniest crap. I don't know. I don't mean that in a judgy way. It's just like this week I had to do a puppet show backing track, and it's and then the guy at the last minute he's like, "We need you to sing." So I'm like, now I'm going la 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 and pitching it up an octave. I'm like, this was not in the brief. It's like,
wow,
make sure nobody knows about this. It's gonna destroy me. It's ruined.
Hide this. Yeah. My haters will find this and expose me. Yeah.
All right, super. And then is there anything you want to add? This is like your carte blanche sort of moment.
Well, I actually wrote a new theme for a new audio drama that's just finished their fundraising. So would I be able to should I
promo do a promo for that?
Definitely. Sure. Let me pull up the website and
cool. That's a great idea.
Doing this correctly.
What's the name of it?
It's called Ritual 6.
Ritual 6. Okay. Might have heard of that. Yeah. Cool.
It was inspired by media like Groundhog Day and Happy Death Day. It's kind of like a dark magic Groundhog Day reliving the same day over and over again kind of story. Yeah.
Good. Okay, I got Ritual 6 website. Let's get that up.
Awesome. Great. They have a 10-episode horror fantasy thriller about a young man. Okay.
Cool. So the thing is, the crowdfunding seems to be, is it completed, or this won't, in terms of timing, I probably won't be able to publish this episode before sort of late January. I don't know how that impacts.
That's no worries. I think they're all fully funded.
Yeah, that's great.
Yes, the season premieres early 2022. Yes.
That's great. Cool. So and go ahead and say, we just finished crowdfunding. We raised $5,000. I'm part of the team. Go listen to it. Just big it up. Use this moment for a bit of promo. That's great.
Sure. Great. Thank you so much. Let me think. I was also asked to be the composer for the theme of I am also the composer of the audio drama Ritual 6 by Cole Burkhart. And we raised a total of $5,600 to get this podcast off the ground, and it will be premiering early 2022. catch my music there.
Great, that's cool. Say something like, if you want to find out more about that, follow the links in the show notes.
Yeah. To find out more, follow the links in the show notes.
Yeah, that's great. Cool. Yeah, actually, I did see this crowd. Oh, now that I see the fire video, I did see this a while back. I checked it out. So I'm glad that it's gone ahead. That's great.
Yes.
Okay, that's epic. All right. Oh, yes, one more thing I want to just show you before we...
Yes.
What's it called? Kinetic metal, that's it.
Yeah.
Motion enabled.
I'm always looking for new sounds.
Oh, I'm just going to grab a random one. I don't know which one this is. Let's get that open. There it is. Okay, I'll give you the. I'll show you the interface because it's pretty cool to look at too.
Yeah.
Give me a sec to just set that up. There we go. Cool. Kinetic metal.
Ooh.
So this is a more melodic one, but let's go through find a more of a clicky one. I think there's a typewriter patch down here somewhere. Let's see if I can find it. I mean, I'm convinced that most of the time they make these instruments just look visually awesome. People like
yes.
That's how they get their vibe.
Yeah.
I'll just scroll through them.
Oh, that's cool.
I mean, you could just sample some of this stuff and turn it into its own.
Wow.
And then we've got controls here. That's basically a rate LFO.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, anyway, there's very kind of organic.
Oh, this is awesome.
Metal sounds, yeah.
Yeah.
There's one specific one that's really clicky. I think it's typewriter. I can't find it now, but yeah.
I love clicky instruments of like you can hear the instrument working to give you sound. Those are my favorite instruments.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, recently I had the privilege of playing an Indian harmonium just for like a few minutes, and that was amazing. It was like a mechanical MIDI keyboard because you pump the bellows. Okay, so you can the electricity. And then the entire keyboard can be shifted with a mechanical lever up and down 2 or 3 semitones. So you can find a convenient key, just like a MIDI keyboard transpose function, like literally it transposes the whole thing. And then it's got these stops, like an organ for drone.
Yeah, yeah.
You got to like whatever, it's like an A flat drone, and then like like an organ, all the divisions, 3/4 and half.
Yeah.
Like play this thing. It's like this old steampunk kind of vibe, very cool.
That's incredible. That's like it reminds me of a hurdy-gurdy almost in how physical it is. Yeah, that's really cool.
Have you ever tried to play hurdy-gurdy?
I haven't, but I've always wanted to.
I've seen people playing them in Subway once. I saw a girl playing it, and it just looks so difficult, but just old, like really like vintage vibe. Yeah. All right. Well, Irene Zhong, I am so grateful for you taking the time. So just
I'm so grateful for the opportunity. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. I mean, it's absolutely my pleasure. This is the highlight of it. And the 1 hour that I get to talk to contributors, like in amongst all the editing, is just the absolute best. So thank you. And I'm inspired by your work, and because I've got to actually start recording more fiddle or more violin. It's a talent I have, and I'm not using it enough. So thank you for that too. I'll think like, okay, so if Irene can do it, and I'm talking to her on the phone, I can do it too. So that's great.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
I'll get to editing this. Probably I'll start in 4 weeks. I've got Caleb from. I've got 2 other contributors to get to first, but then. Around that time, I might have to just get a line or 2 from you. Sometimes there's something missing. So I might just email you and say, could you record this 1 line or something?
Yeah, no worries. Yeah.
All right. Otherwise, I think we're pretty much done for the day. I'm going to leave you to your evening.
Great timing.
In Melbourne. Yeah.
Yeah, and leave you to the rest of your day.
Yeah, great.
It's been a great pleasure.
Yeah, awesome. I'll make sure you know about any stuff that's going on, promos, Twitters, early releases, anything like that. Otherwise, have an awesome day, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
All right.
So great to meet you and chat.
Yeah.
All right. See you soon. Bye.
Cheers.